She carried my burden. The weight was a constant companion. It wasn't a physical thing you could see, but it sat on my chest all the same, a heavy, leaden cloak of grief and fear I wore every waking moment. My son's sickness is disturbing me every day, and there is nothing that could alleviate it. I prayed, of course. I sent desperate, silent pleas heavenward, but the silence that echoed back felt vast and empty. I was drowning on dry land, carrying a burden I was never meant to carry alone, and I had never felt more lonely in my faith. Then Maria, my neighbor, came. She wasn't a close friend. She just showed up at my door one evening with a pot of homemade soup and a quiet, determined look in her eyes. "I'm not here to talk," she said softly. "I'm just here to be here." And she was. She moved through my silent apartment with a gentle efficiency, washing the dishes that had piled up in my sink, folding the laundry I had ignored. She didn't ask me to recount my pain. She just shouldered a part of the practical chaos it had created. She came back the next week and the week after that. Sometimes she would just sit with me on the couch, her presence a silent, solid anchor in the tumultuous sea of my sorrow. She listened when I finally found words, not offering solutions, but simply absorbing the weight of my words, sharing the load of them. One afternoon, overwhelmed by a wave of anxiety about finances and the future, I broke down. The burden felt too immense, too crushing. Maria simply put her hand on my shoulder and said, "Let me carry this with you for a while." In that moment, the abstract concept of Galatians 6 verse 2, carry each other's burdens, crystallized into breathtaking reality. It wasn't a verse about distant prayer, it was a command to active, tangible love. Maria wasn't just being kind, she was fulfilling the law of Christ. She was being his hands, his feet, his heart of compassion in my life. Through her simple, faithful acts, I received a grace I had never understood before. It was the grace of embodied love, the grace of a shared load. The burden didn't vanish, but it became bearable because it was no longer mine alone to carry. My faith, which had felt so private and fragile, was suddenly reinforced by the strength of a sister who loved me as Christ loved. She laid down her time and comfort for me, her friend, and in that sacrifice, I saw a reflection of the ultimate sacrifice John wrote about. I didn't just hear about the love of Christ, I felt it, tangible and real, in the warmth of a shared meal and the comfort of a silent presence. I received the truth that the law of Christ is not a list of rules, but the law of love in action. And in allowing Maria to carry my burden, I participated in that law just as much as she did. I learned that receiving grace is sometimes the first step in understanding how to give it. My heart, once closed in by grief, began to open again, not just with gratitude, but with a new, fervent desire to one day be for someone else what Maria had been for me, a bearer of burdens, a fulfiller of Christ's beautiful, commanding law of love.